All right, now we're going to be moving on to the Minijet. This machine is designed for mainline jetting. It is compatible with the M27 compressor. Alrighty, starting off with the chamber side of the Minijet. We're going to be looking at the duct inserts first. As you can see, they are labeled 14 millimeter. That's saying the 14 millimeter of your outer diameter on your microduct. As you can see, there's grooves on this side. Means this is the bottom side of the chamber, while this is the top. So now opening your chamber, you can see the cords here. What you're going to do is grab your duct insert and insert them in just like so. What this will do is this will provide zero air loss escaping from the chamber once this is pressurized. Then taking your screw and your Allen key and making sure the insert is flush, hand tighten just like so. Now moving on to the top part of the chamber. Inserting just like so, again ensuring that it's flush, taking your screw and just hand tightening like so. Now moving on to the teeth of the duct insert. This is going to be grabbing onto the microduct, making sure it doesn't wiggle inside the machine. These do not have a top or bottom. One goes here, as the other goes right here. Taking your screws, and fastening. Now moving on to the cable inserts. These have a cable range from 5 to 8 millimeters. We said earlier that this is a 5.2 millimeter cable. So this will be perfect for the application. Again, the bottom piece has the grooves, the top piece does not. Taking that, sliding it into the rubber, taking your screws, and fastening. Again, the top piece just goes just like so. And now we're going to be moving into the lip seals and O-rings of the machine. So every lip seal case has a range. This is from a 4.4 to a 5.3. We said that the cable outer diameter is a 5.2, which is perfect for our application. Taking the lip seal, making sure that it's always facing towards the pipe, insert it in its proper slot. Then taking your 14 millimeter O-ring, which is capable of 1410 microduct, inserting on the other side. Then taking your top of your chamber and inserting just like so. Clamping down, and again, always hand tightening. Now that you have your chamber all set up from your cable insert and your duct insert side, once you pressurize the microduct, you will start getting back pressure coming from the duct insert end. To release this back pressure, there is a release valve right here. Just twist clockwise to release and depressurize, making it able for you to open up the chamber. Now moving over to the belts. All you're going to want to do for the belts is just do a quick visual evaluation, seeing that there's no tears or damages. Another way you can do this is by popping the lever open and being able to pull the belts directly out. This is also great when you're done the job and your machine's covered in mud, You can completely remove these, and this machine is fully waterproof. Just hit it with the power washer and you should be good to go for your next job. Now moving over to the counter, you lift it up and you slide your cable through, and this will be able to measure your total distance traveled while jetting. We have cable guides that come with the machine. Each cable guide is labeled. This is from a 4 to 8 millimeter cable range. So this would be perfect for our application. How you insert these, clamp them together like so. Lock them into place. The other side, same exact process. Make sure that they are pointing towards each other. Now moving on the digital side of the counter. This is powered by a single AA battery. What this shows is your total distance traveled, your meters per minute, and your total kilometers jetted on this machine. Once you do your jet and you want to reset it back to 0 for another shot, hold this down for 3 seconds and it will reset the meter mark back to 0. Now we're going to be moving on to the back side of the machine. The first thing we're going to talk about is the accelerator. Making sure before you start jetting that this accelerator knob is set to 0. If you have too much built up pressure with your accelerator, you'll actually be able to see it in your pressure gauge. And if you start jetting, it would actually jump the machine forward, high likelihood that there could be damage to the machine. So just reensuring that before you start jetting and putting fiber in the ground, that this is set to 0. Then below it, we have the water separator. Compressors naturally collect moisture over time. This chamber will slowly start gathering water. Over time, just make sure that you open the bottom of this and this will slowly start spilling out water. And you make sure to refasten that or you'll have issues jetting. Now moving over to the oil. Factory settings have it set to 1 drop per minute. We recommend 2 drops per minute once you start hitting those colder climates, anything under -5. How you fill up your oil, grab your gauge here, twist clockwise. Be mindful of the straw, don't want to damage that. Twist out like so, and make sure that it's filled usually around 1/2 to 3/4. With every Plumett machine, you have oil that is provided. And to insert it back, make sure it's twisted like so. It's hard to do it this way. And twist till you hear the click. Now the emergency stop, very straightforward. If it's down, that means the machine emergency stop is kicked in. The belts will not be able to move. When you push inwards and the emergency stop is open, that is allowing you to jet. Now moving to the actual clamp. Once you have the back clamp clamping down on the fiber, you can use this wheel to do the fine corrections to make sure you're applying the perfect amount of pressure on the cable. How you can achieve this is by doing a crash test. Every Plumett machine has one built in. If you want to get into more detail about that, please feel free to contact us at Connect, and we will be more than happy to send somebody out or do something over a video or Teams call. Now moving on to the motor and the muffler. The muffler is great to have. It quiets the machine. In winter months, we actually recommend you removing this. Just take a simple wrench and remove that. What that's going to do is it's going to stop water buildup and ice freezing up inside the motor. It will make a loud whistling noise, but this will ensure smoother jetting in the colder months. Now moving on to the Chicago fitting. Very simple. You take your Chicago hose, connect this to your M27 compressor. Here is your air valve. That's going to apply air into the chamber, which is going to float your cables. Now moving on to the counter side, we have a small control knob here, which moves, raises, and lowers your counter. Essentially what that does is you want it to be perfectly horizontal going into the machine from your fiber reel, going onto your belts. This will increase the maximum push force of your cable. And finally, every Minijet is shipped with the tools and accessory box. What is included in this is a manual with all the instructions that we went through today in this video, as well as different sets of Allen keys to disassemble and reassemble the machine, oil that you put in the back of the machine that we went over, and 2 different sizes of Plumett jetting lube that we recommend you do for every one of your fiber jetting shots, as well as extra cord to help seal and refasten your chambers after excessive use. And that is everything on the Minijet. If you have any other questions or want to go into more detail regarding this machine, feel free to contact us.